I'm Pinky Webb. Tonight we ask the questions, we tackle the issues, we clarify matters, and we get on point. The Office of the Solicitor General, back as the government's representative in cases filed by the camp of detained former President Rodrigo Duterte and Senator Bato de la Rosa against the ICC. To recall, the OSG under then Solgen Minardo Guevara recused itself last March, citing its firm stance that the Hague-based court no longer has jurisdiction over the country. So what now is the argument of the OSG under its new leadership? Let's get on point with Solicitor General Darlene Berberabe. Solgen, good to finally have you. Welcome to the show and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Pinky.
All right, so the Supreme Court has accepted the Solgen to represent government in its cases filed by the camp of former President Rodrigo Duterte and, of course, also Senator Bato de la Rosa. Maybe just a quick summary on this. How important or significant is this?
Well, this is significant because the OSG, the Office of Solicitor General, has the mandate of being the counsel for the Republic. Now, in March, as you have mentioned, Solgen Maynard asked the Supreme Court if it can be excused because of certain position that it has adopted in the past. And we can recall that Solgen Maynard started as DOJ Secretary under the former President's administration and then became our Solgen. So there were submissions to the ICC that ICC does not have jurisdiction in the case involving President Duterte. And because of those submissions, Solgen Maynard said that maybe the OSG could not effectively represent the Republic in that case. Now, given the subsequent events as well, that the ICC already has issued its decision as to the jurisdiction of the ICC. So that means that it has rejected also the position of the Philippines that the ICC does not have jurisdiction, and also the subsequent handover by the DOJ and the other respondents in the petition that was filed. It is just, we are just assuming again the responsibility that is really lodged in our office. There has to be a representation in court, and it is our responsibility, and we are accepting the responsibility fully.
Is it odd, or should one be worried that if there is one Solicitor General who sees or believes that he or the government or the OSG should recuse themselves from looking into or forming part or playing part in this role against the former president, to another Solgen who comes in, who says, no, we should not recuse ourselves? Does it become personality-based?
Okay. The Office of the Solicitor General really has a wide discretion. In fact, there have been cases also in the past where the OSG, at first, for example, is supporting a conviction of, let's say, X, and eventually the OSG, invoking its role as tribune of the people, would then reverse its position and argue for the acquittal. So in fact, the Solgen under President Duterte, Solgen Calida, so if you Google also in the internet, so there were cases also where Solgen Calida did reverse the position of the OSG. So it happens. Because when I say that there's a wide discretion, the Solgen, in its role as tribune of the people, always has to discern that its client is really the Republic, represented by the executives, but also it represents the people. And so there has to be a determination as to what is the interest of the public, what is that public interest, what will be the good for the public. And therefore, your question is it personality-based? It shouldn't be. What shouldn't be is that the Solgen should not be swayed by political views or political personalities, but really the focus should be who is your client, and your client is the public interest.
But the Solgen is the government counsel, hindi ho ba?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That raises another question. Why wouldn't the government lawyer defend the government when it actually was the government who allowed the former president to be brought to The Hague?
Yes, that's a very, very important observation and question. Okay, so because really that's the mandate, and that's why when people were asking or questioning why is the OSG now taking this position, and my simple answer is that actually that is the default role of the Solgen, and it was the previous position that had to be lodged before the Supreme Court and ask for the Supreme Court's permission if that could happen.
Okay. And now that has been decided, Solgen, let's talk about the cases that are pending or the motions that are pending before the Supreme Courts. Para po medyo malinaw, let's start with the case of former President Rodrigo Duterte. As mentioned a while ago, there was a recusal by the former Solicitor General Minato Guevara to defend, rather, the government, saying the ICC has actually no jurisdiction over the Philippines. So that back then, it was who actually represented the government due to the recusal of the Solgen?
Okay, it was the DOJ.
Okay, all right. So now the cases are now pending. I just want to do a little bit of a look back. How many cases are now pending with regard to former President Rodrigo Duterte? Because there were a number of motions, pleadings filed before the Supreme Court by, first it was, I believe, on behalf of the former president, also by Senator Bato de la Rosa for President Rodrigo Duterte, and also his children, the acting mayor, the congressman, and Kitty Duterte.
Yes, so there were 3 petitions for habeas corpus filed by the children. There was another petition filed by Senator Bato and former President Duterte for certiorari and prohibition. This is the case where Senator Bato just recently filed his manifestation, and he was asking for several reliefs in that manifestation. So before Senator Bato filed his manifestation, so in fact the DOJ and the OSG have been discussing since maybe in June or July, and we were actually deliberating as to whether it was already time for the OSG to enter its appearance. But because the case has been submitted for resolution, so the DOJ and the OSG said, since submitted for resolution, no more need to enter. But Senator Bato filed this manifestation, and so there was still a need to again submit a comment, and that's why DOJ said it endorsed it to OSG, and then OSG, please do your responsibility.
So, Jen, to be clear, are you saying that because of the manifestation that Senator Bato filed on his behalf for the TRO and for the production of this arrest warrant, parang nabuhay po yung kaso, and then that made you decide to actually enter your appearance as the Solgen? Because otherwise,
that's right.
you wouldn't have, because it was already submitted for resolution?
Yes, that's right.
I see.
Bec-
So,
because what our thinking process was, since it's submitted for resolution, and if the OSG enters its appearance, maybe the Supreme Court will still say, OSG, what is your comment? Are you conforming? Can you review the DOJ submission? And we said maybe it will still be a cause for delay,
I see.
and therefore we just did not choose to enter our appearance then.
I see. Got it. So, Soljan, there are two petitions before the Supreme Court on behalf of former President Rodrigo Duterte. That's the certiorari and
Prohibition,
prohibition.
certiorari and prohibition.
Ano ho ibig
And
sabihin
then,
ng certiorari and prohibition? And the other one is habeas corpus. Kindly explain to us non-lawyers.
okay, habeas corpus is like the petitioners are asking the court to produce the body of the one who is alleged to be unlawfully detained. So it is asking the court to, okay, produce this person because there's an allegation that he is being unlawfully detained. So that there will be an explanation to the court as to why this person is being detained. So that's habeas corpus. But of course, since the president is already in the jurisdiction of the ICC, then practically the court here cannot have jurisdiction over the ICC. So, but that's the general idea for habeas corpus. Certiorari is that the petitioner is asking the court that the respondent or the other party has done a certain action that is done with grave abuse of discretion. So meaning here, for example, the Secretary of Justice, the petitioners are saying that the SOJ, the PNP chief, abused their power. Yes, so did something that's beyond their authority in handing over the president. So that's certiorari.
Got it.
And then a prohibition is stop from doing something. So stop from cooperating with the ICC, stop from cooperating with the Interpol.
Okay. Thank you. So, and all that, the petition for certiorari and prohibition and habeas corpus have yet to be decided by the Supreme Court.
That's correct.
Yeah, because there was an urgent motion from the daughter of the former president to really look into, or to, would the right word be expedite, the habeas corpus pleading before the Supreme Court. We're going to talk more about this, but we need to take a very short break. We'll continue our discussion with Solicitor General Darlene Berberabe. When we return, stay tuned. This is On Point. Welcome back. Still with us, Solicitor General Darlene Berberabe. I was just thinking about it while you explained certiorari and prohibition and habeas corpus. Are they somehow interlocked? Because if it's certiorari, basically government abuse, grave abuse, government
Of
abuse.
discretion.
Yes, that's right. And then prohibition, stop cooperating. Tapos habeas corpus, produce the body. They, to me, sound like they are linked, because if there was grave abuse of discretion, nagkamali po ang gobyerno, kaya dapat ibalik nyo yung tao dito sa Pilipinas. Would that be a simple way of understanding it?
Yes, you are correct that they are related, and that's why also, that's the reason why the former Solgen said he did not discuss any substantive argument, but he just said that because of the position that the Solgen adopted previously, then to avoid the appearance of conflict in the positions, he may not be effective in representing.
Soljan, is there one that supersedes the other, or should one first be decided on by the Supreme Court, or will they both be decided at the same time if they're actually even related?
Okay. It could be decided one after another. The certiorari and prohibition could be decided maybe ahead. We could just anticipate that maybe the decision will be forthcoming soon.
Because it's already submitted for resolution, as you mentioned a while ago.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so yun po yung hinihintay na pleadings before the Supreme Court with regard to former President Rodrigo Duterte. So we're going to continue to wait for that. Just a quick one before I go to Senator Bato de la Rosa. Just one thing came to mind. Because the ICC has jurisdiction of the former president now, and his defense team questioned the jurisdiction of the ICC in The Hague, to which the pretrial chamber already said we have jurisdiction, how does that affect a favorable outcome here for the former president in the Supreme Court here in the Philippines, ma'am?
Okay. In fact, before the ICC, the OSG doesn't have any personality anymore. Okay, so in that case, the parties will just involve the victims, and they will be represented by their counsel. So, for the decision, for example, that the petition will be granted, for example, that the Supreme Court will say, okay, there was grave abuse of discretion. So that means that there will be a limitation or a definition of what should be the parameters or the authority of the executive branch in regard to people who are alleged to have committed crimes against humanity.
So if it is favorable for the former president, if the Supreme Court rather issues a favorable decision regarding the habeas corpus or certiorari and prohibition on the former president, are you saying that that will serve as possibly just a template for future similar incidents?
That's what I think will be instructive. And it might also open like other options that maybe it isn't for us to speculate, because actually that's one of the rules or one of the parameters in discussing cases that are already in the Supreme Court. Parang that's one that the Supreme Court doesn't want if you try to anticipate what will be their decision under the sub judice rule.
Okay. All right. I was just thinking about that because any decision, if it is a favorable decision for the former president, then that will be favorable to Senator Bato de la Rosa.
Yes, that could be, yes.
Okay, because going to him, he filed a motion before the Supreme Court, or I think it's a manifestation, which I'm going to ask you later, before the Supreme Court to basically have Ombudsman Boying Remulla present, supposed to be this arrest warrant. There's two, right? Present the arrest warrant and issue a TRO regarding a possible arrest. I did read about this. The OSG was saying the manifestation is an improper and defective submission, conveniently couched the instant submission as a mere manifestation and not a motion. So how I understood it is that parang nagkamali po yung kanyang kampo dahil ang final po nila ay manifestation and not a motion. Would that be correct, Sol Jen? And if it is, what is the difference between the two?
Okay. Manifestation is just, you're just informing, you're manifesting something. And that's why in our comment, we just said that it's procedurally infirm, because if you are just informing, then why are there a lot of reliefs that are being asked from the Supreme Court? So it's like asking also for an advisory opinion. It's asking for a TRO, which
Okay.
is also similar to the previous TRO that was filed in the main case and which has already been denied by the Supreme Court. So, and that's why that's just our main point. The relief sprayed are not consistent with just filing a manifestation.
Okay.
And it is entirely also different from the cause of action of the main petition, which was about the former president.
So what is pending? I understand what is pending with regard to the manifestation filed by the camp of Senator Bato de la Rosa.
So the respondents were asked to comment. That is what we filed.
Okay.
The comment, the one that you read.
Right.
And so the Supreme Court will have to also integrate that in the decision for that pending case on the certiorari and prohibition.
Forgive me, Solgen, but something came to mind too. Wasn't there a decision on the producing the TRO?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet for the manifestation that was filed by Senator Bato. There was one TRO that they asked in the petition, in the main petition, that was already denied. And that's why we're saying that it's similar, what he's asking for now is similar to that which has already been denied.
The main petition involving the former president?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So that's still the manifestation or his informing the court on those two grounds are still pending. As a last question, Solicitor General, I'm also just very curious to find out, can one ask for a TRO, a temporary restraining order, on something that has actually not happened yet?
That's a very keen observation in your question. That the premise is very good. So the answer is no. Okay, so for a TRO, so an example of a TRO is that the government has already done something, and then you file a TRO so that the implementation of that action or decision will be stopped. And so that's why if you are petitioning the court for a TRO, there are very specific grounds that it can be invoked. And the petitioner also has to establish certain facts. So not like what Senator Bato has done in his manifestation, that he's asking the court to compel the production of the warrant of arrest or to take judicial notice of certain pronouncements in the newspaper articles. So there, you have to establish that you have an unmistakable right, and that there is no other remedy, no other speedy remedy, that there will be irreparable injury. And here, there is no action yet to stop.
Solicitor General Darlene Berberabe, ma'am, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you also, Pinky.
That's On Point. Join us again on Monday, 7:30 p.m. here on BNC, the Billionario News Channel. I'm Pinky Webb. Thank you for watching.